Sergeant is my name. I'm a senior driving school instructor at Motor Driving School. Thank you and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss how to handle different gears in different vehicles. We understand that different vehicles, due to different manufacturers' specifications, have different kind of gear levels. Now we are going to use very different type of vehicles. Our company is growing and we thank God for it. So we are going to use Ford C-Max. We have a Toyota RAV4 and we have a Volkswagen Golf. Now it's a bit cold. The temperatures are at -2 degrees, so I'm literally freezing. But well, we are on the line of duty and we have to learn either way. Now we are going to start with VW Golf. So we are going to get into the car, understand the gear level, explain more about it, learn more about it. We go into that car, learn more about the gears. We go into that car, learn more about the gears, and we try to find out the similarities and the differences, because you might not have an opportunity as a student to have an experience or to learn with different type of vehicles. For example, you might find that maybe you used a Toyota Probox, a Toyota Axio, maybe a Subaru Impreza. You find that those gears are a little bit similar. But now when you come to different companies, this Ford company, this Toyota company, this German, this VW, RAV4 and Ford, these are three different companies and they have three different gear levels or three different mechanisms of shifting the gears. But they're all the same. As long as you understand the basic principles of shifting gears in a manual vehicle, you can be able to drive any of the vehicles. All you need to do is to make an observation that I'm going to show you how to do it right now. So first and foremost, we are going to understand the basic things that you need to know in a manual vehicle. So specifically, this one is a VW. This is what you are going to use as the first vehicle. This one is a VW. You can see the label. So there are three levels that are there. We have on the right hand side, we have the accelerator, we have the brakes, and then we have the clutch. So there's something that you said in our introduction to driving vehicle, whereby we learned to drive, or I did have an explanation or a demo video using a Subaru Impreza. So on the right hand side we have the accelerator, and accelerator you use the right hand foot, and we have the brakes. Both the accelerator and the brakes you use the right foot, so you alternate between the two, so you only use the right foot. The clutch you use the left leg, the left foot. That is what you use to apply or to use the clutch. Now the gear lever, let us look at this gear lever. It is a bit different from the gear lever that we had for the Subaru Impreza that we used in Introduction to Driving Part 1 and Part 2. Now, from what I can see here, we have several gears. We have gear number 1, gear number 2, gear number 3, gear number 4, gear number 5, and gear number reverse. There is something that I want you to remember. If you can remember, in the previous car that we had, there was gear number 1, gear number 2, gear number 3, gear number 4, gear number 5, and gear reverse was located here. But this one is located on the left hand side upwards. Now, the basic principles of the gears, from what we understand, is you are supposed first to adjust your seat appropriately, then you clutch in. After you clutch in, you push the gear to the left upwards. That is gear number 1. So the same case applies to this car. If you push the gear to the left upwards, that's gear number 1. To the left backwards, that's gear number 2. Then straight on forward, gear number 3. Straight on backward, that is gear number 4. To the left back upwards, that is gear number 5. So the other vehicle used to take the gear to the left backwards and used to engage the reverse gear. Now in this case, the reverse gear is to the right upwards. But now, for the safety measures of to enhance safety or for safety precautions, they have designed the gear lever in such a way that you cannot just push the gear to the left upwards and engage the reverse gear, because as it is indicated here. So what do you do for you to be able to engage the reverse gear in this kind of a vehicle? You press the gear lever down. You see, it's moving. Check. You see, it's it's moving. So you press it down, left, upwards, you engage the reverse gear, and automatically the vehicle will be able to move backwards. If you don't press it down, you'll not be able to engage the reverse gear. So there is no way that you can make a mistake of engaging the reverse gear if it is not intentional, because you have to press the gear down. So how do I engage the reverse gear? I press the gear down, you see it's moving. I press the gear down to the left, upwards. That is the reverse gear. So we try and we see. So gear number 1, left, upwards, that's normal. That is what you said, that you push the gear to the maximum left, upwards. Gear number 2, maximum left, downwards. Then gear number 3, straight on. Gear number 4, backwards. Gear number 5. So how do you engage the reverse gear? You push the gear downwards, you see it's moving. You push the gear downwards, left, and if you take off the handbrake, clutch gently, the vehicle will just move backwards. Yeah, it's moving. So that is how you are supposed to engage the reverse gear in a Volkswagen Golf, whereby the gear is indicated or has a similar gear lever to this one. So that is how you engage the gears in a manual vehicle, VW, that has this kind of a gear lever. Now the next one, we are going to go to our next vehicle, that is a RAV4, and we try to find out how do you engage the gears, how do you shift the gears, because it is also having a different kind of gear. Remember, different companies have different specifications, have different demands of doing things, have different clients. Yeah, every vehicle manufacturer or every supplier in the market or every manufacturer in the market is trying to make something different. So, and it is our responsibility to understand the different everything that is in the market, because even in mobile phones we have different versions every day. So let us go to the next vehicle, that is the Toyota RAV4, and understand how do you operate the gear, how do you shift the gears in Toyota RAV4. Trying to understand how you operate gears in a VW, this one right here. Now you are going to understand how do you operate the gears in a RAV4. They're different. Yes, these are different, and as your driving school instructor, it is my responsibility to make sure that my students understand, or I expose them to different gear levels. Now, how do you go about this gear? So the very first thing that you're supposed to do as a driver, when you get into the vehicle, before shifting the gears, ensure that you clutch in. You sit in a comfortable position and then you clutch in. So after clutching in, that is where you come to the gears. The same thing that you've done to that other vehicle, the gear levers are the same. So what you need to understand is the positioning of the gears. So we have the reverse gear to the left, upwards. Then you have gear number 1, gear number 2, gear number 3, gear number 4, gear number 5, gear number 6. So how do you shift all these gears, or how do you engage the gears? So the principle is the same. The gear number 1, you push to the left, upwards. All the gears in saloon vehicles, gear number 1, push to the left, upwards. Gear number 2, to the left, backwards. Gear number 3, from gear number 2, just push the gear straight on, without either moving the gear to the left or to the right. Straight on. That is gear number 3. Gear number 4, backwards. So why do gear number 3 move straight on and backwards? Why? Because the resting point of any gear, from what you said in my introduction to driving video, manual gears, number 1, we say that the resting point of the gear is between number 3 and 4. So any manual gear ever for saloon cars, the resting point is between number 3 and number 4. Right now it is between number 3 and number 4. So at resting point, if I push the gear forward, I'll go to gear number 3. If I push the gear backwards, I'll go to gear number 4. So if I want to engage gear number 2, I'll push the gear to the left, backwards, left, backwards. So left, backwards. If I want to engage gear number 1, left, upwards. So if I want to engage gear number 5, I'll push the gear to the extreme, right, upwards. If I want to engage gear number 6, I'll push the gear to the extreme, right, backward. That is gear number 6. So what about the reverse gear? So in this specific gear, we have this thing that you can see here. you have this thing that you can see here, this one. So if you want to engage the reverse gear, remember the other vehicle, when you are engaging the reverse gear, we pushed the gear lever down. Now this one you don't push it down. This one you pull up. This thing that is here, you pull the gear lever up using this this aid that is attached here. So what do? I insert my finger that way, pull it up to the end, then backwards. So that is how you engage the reverse gear. And if you check at our reverse camera here, once I engage the reverse gear, you'll be able to see that it will start working. So I pull the gear lever up to the left, upwards. You see, it means that I have already engaged the reverse gear. So disconnect. So if I want to engage the reverse gear, I pull this one up, left, upwards. I've already engaged the reverse gear. Now, so we've said that gear number 1, just push the gear to the left, upwards. Gear number 2 to the left, backwards. Gear number 3, straight on. Gear number 4, backwards. Gear number 5 to the left, upwards. Gear number 6 to the right, backwards. So that is how you engage the gears. And the reverse gear, you pull this knob up, you pull it up. After you pull it up to the extreme left, so this is the secret, you pull it up to the extreme left, then upwards. That is gear reverse. So that is how you engage the gear lever. That is how you engage the gears. That is how you use the gear lever. In RAV4, we've understood how you engage the gears in a VW. So right now we are going to go into the next vehicle, that is Ford C-Max. Yeah, it is always good to aim high, aim the sun to reach the moon. So we are still growing as a sergeant and group. At least now we have different kind of vehicles that you can be able to use and learn more. Actually, we arranged how we can be able to get these vehicles, or we bought these vehicles so as to be able to teach our students, or my students rather, and the Immortal driving school team, of how to operate different gear levers, how to handle different vehicles, because the vehicles are different. For example, this vehicle, you can see the mirrors is located right here, close to the gear lever. This is where you adjust the mirrors. So this is a side mirror. If you want to direct the mirror to the left, you press there. If you want to direct the mirror to the right, press there, then you adjust. So this is where you adjust the mirrors. Unlike the other vehicles, whereby the vehicle that we used, the Subaru, had an area of directing the gears, directing the mirrors near the door. That other vehicle has an idea of directing the side mirrors somewhere here at the door. I'll show you that. This one is different, it's right here. So it is all about understanding the vehicle instruments. You understand the vehicle apparatus. They are all the same, because whether it's located here, whether it's located here, whether it's located here, as long as you know what it is, then, for example, I did not need anybody to come and explain to me that this one is what you used to direct or to change direction of the mirrors. I already know. If I see this sign, if I see this one, and this one, then I know, oh, this is where I adjust the side mirrors. The gear levers, I already know. If I push the gear to the left, upward, that's gear number 1, gear number 2, gear number 3, gear number 4, then gear number 5, gear number 6. So the only thing that was different in this vehicle from the other vehicles that we've had so far, it is this knob, whereby you lift it upwards to the left extreme, then upwards. That is now how you engage the reverse gear. Well, so let us go now to our last vehicle, that is Ford C-Max, and understand how we shift the gears, or the difference in mechanism between VW, a RAV4, and a Ford C-Max. Okay, is our next gear lever that we are going to use today. So we've already tried to understand how to use or how to shift gears in a VW Golf, RAV4. So now we are in Ford C-Max. You can see this one is Ford RAV4, VW. So how do you shift the gears in Ford? Now this one is now the most common gear lever that we are used to. This one is one of the gear levers that almost everybody trained with. Gear number 1, gear number 2, gear number 3, 4, 5 and reverse. The same gear lever that you used to deal with, or the same gear lever that you are exposed to maybe when you are in your driving classes, or when you are going through our first video in Subaru Impreza. So how do you engage the gears in this one? You just need to clutch in. After you clutch in, you push the gear lever to the extreme left upwards. That is gear number 1. You want to engage gear number 2 to the extreme left backwards. That is gear number 2. You want to engage gear number 3. You push. Don't use a lot of force either to the left or to the right when you engage gear number 3. You just need to push the gear straight on. Gear number 3 backwards. Gear number 4 and gear number 5 to the left upwards. Gear number reverse to the left backwards. This is the most common gear, and this is the gear that we used in almost this is the most common gear in most of the vehicles that we used in driving school. So I thought it was a good idea just to expose you to other gear levers, because you never know. You might train with a Ford, you might train with a Probox, you might train with an Axio, but then maybe you buy a RAV or maybe you buy a VW and you find the gear lever is different. So how do you go about it? So that is the end of our lesson today, and thank you for being part of us, part of Team Sergeant. Yeah, we are expanding our wings. I told you that currently we are located in United Kingdom, London specifically, and we are happy. And yeah, God has continually been able to bless us, enlarging our territories. Yeah, and it is for the good intention of everyone that growth is compulsory. When you have good intention to everyone, when you have goodwill at heart, when you do what you do at your best, automatically you have to grow. God will have to reward you for the hard work. So that is how we engage the gears. So in our next lesson, we are going to discuss about hill start. So hit the sub button, like the video, share the video to your colleagues, and encourage them to come to our channel and learn more, because we are the best, we train the best, and we give the best. Thank you so much. Welcome and feel at home.